Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining. We'll be starting shortly. Hello, thank you for joining. We'll be starting at 3:05.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I'm here. Oh, okay, bye.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining. We'll give it a few more minutes and we'll be starting shortly. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining Navigating Metro Contracting Opportunities with Supervisor Holly Mitchell. My name is Mildred. I'll be providing tech support today. If you have any technical difficulties, please reach out to me at mildred@3dnetworkscorp.com. My email's on the screen before you. And if you have any questions throughout the webinar, please use the Q&A question function. And we have an account manager available to answer all of your questions. His name is Rick Casillas. Thank you, Rick.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. My name is Ingrid Merriweather. I'm the president and CEO of Merriweather and Williams Insurance Services, and we are the administrators of Metro's Contractor Development Bonding Assistance Program. So I really want to start by just welcoming you all. I'm sure more will join as we proceed in today's presentation in the program. I think we had 80 some odd folks register, so folks will just join us when they make it in. But thank you for making time for this today. For some of you, this may be repeat information, and that's okay, because I think the more you hear something, you hear more nuances of it over time, and it deepens your understanding. And then hopefully we hit upon something that's like, oh, I didn't know they did that. And that leads you to, reach out to us and enroll in the program. So it's really an honor to be here. And I really want to start off by thanking Metro for really sponsoring this program. I'm going to introduce Keith in a moment, but just to give you a little bit of context, because it really is an expression of the level of commitment that a public agency, in this case Metro, is investing in a resource to address what have been the historical barriers and impediments that make it more difficult for small contractors to participate in major public works projects. So a lot of agencies recognize that that's true and may make some attempts to try to address it. But it really takes an investment in addressing those barriers and providing comprehensive resources and services to really kind of change the paradigm for small local contractors. So I just want to acknowledge, and I think we all owe a big thank you to Metro for making the investment in this program and the impact that it's had, and we hope it will continue to do so. So want to give Metro some kudos for just stepping up to the plate. And at this juncture, I want to introduce our champion and advocate for the program, Mr. Keith Compton, who technically Keith's title is the director. I have to read this as you can see. The director of the Capacity Building and Data Integration, which is housed within the Diversity and Economic Development Department at Metro. So that in itself is a mouthful, but I want to emphasize capacity building, because I think that is the most telling in terms of Keith's role and Metro's intention, particularly as respects this program, that Metro is really investing in the development of the capacity of the small, local, minority, DBE, DVBE, all the BE contractor community. And Keith has been just such a stalwart champion of the overarching initiative that Metro has, making sure Metro is putting its mouth where its word is in terms of executing strategies and resources to be impactful and make a difference, and is our point of contact and an advocate for our program, who we very much enjoy partnering with. So if you think you can follow that introduction, Keith, and live up to it, I'm turning the mic over to you.
I don't think I can. Thank you, Ingrid, and thank all of you for joining us this afternoon to Metro's Regional Contractor Development and Bonding Program Workshop. We have some exciting projects happening at Metro and some exciting programs. And Metro is extending comprehensive capacity building and technical and bonding assistance to small contractors looking to pursue Metro contracts. And the overall objective of Metro's program is to support Metro's goals of opportunity, equity, and inclusion of small contractors, including minority, women, veteran, and all small businesses. Metro seeks to increase the utilization of these businesses and foster the local economic benefit of their growth. We also recognize the barriers which historically impede these small businesses. And of course, bonding is recognized as one of those. Metro's program is administered through the best in the business, which is Merriweather and Williams. And they assist contractors with not only bonding, but building their capacity and growth. As part of Metro's program outreach, we do workshops, and through the help of supervisors like Holly Mitchell and the Metro Board of Directors, billions of dollars in construction opportunities are ongoing and continuing at Metro. Metro has many opportunities to offer, and you'll hear firsthand today from one of our partners, Skanska, who are engaged in two of Metro's mega projects, the Regional Connector and the West Side Purple Line Extension Project. And most importantly, I have the honor of introducing Supervisor and Metro Board Director, Holly Mitchell. The Board of Supervisors, they make things happen. They're very serious about small business at Metro. Unfortunately, Supervisor Mitchell's schedule didn't permit her to be here in person today, but her Senior Deputy of Infrastructure and Transportation is attending today's workshop. And I'd like to acknowledge Lily O'Brien, who's the Senior Deputy of Infrastructure and Transportation to Supervisor Holly Mitchell. So thank you. At this time, I think there is a welcome from our supervisor.
Good afternoon. I'm Supervisor Holly Mitchell, proudly representing LA County's 2nd District, and I'm also a proud member of the Metro Board of Directors. I personally wanted to take a minute to welcome you to today's Metro Virtual Outreach Workshop. Say that 3 times fast. We're slowly emerging from a global pandemic that profoundly impacted all of our lives. And I'd like to thank everyone who stayed vigilant and still continues to do their part to keep themselves and others safe by observing social distancing regulations and quarantine mandates. I hope, like me, many of you have chosen to be vaccinated as well. When it's appropriate, we hope to one day organize in-person workshops safely by following appropriate guidelines. Until then, we'll continue to keep safe and provide you with virtual events like this afternoon's outreach workshop. So today, we're going to present the Regional Contractor Development and Bonding Program and the services, benefits, and opportunities it provides. You'll learn the fundamentals of bonding and discover why it's necessary for public works projects and the resources available through this program. The Regional Contractor Development and Bonding Program is designed to expand your capacity as contractors and encourage your participation with Metro in construction projects throughout LA County. This is a great opportunity for you to learn about and take advantage of valuable resources available to you, all for free. As I hope you know, Metro is in the midst of a major multi-billion-dollar construction boom. When voters approved Measure M in 2016, they embarked on the most ambitious infrastructure expansion program in the country. So we've got many opportunities ahead, and we continue to recover from the pandemic and prepare for the 2028 Olympics. I hope today's workshop will help you maximize your potential, because we're counting on you to play a critical role in the economic comeback for our region. So thank you so very much for your participation today, and we hope you learn a lot, that you take advantage of the opportunities shared to get the maximum benefit out of them for you and your company. Have a great day.
Well, if she was here, of course, in person, we would thank her for that greeting. We appreciate the time she took to record the video. And I think it's just another testament at the level of commitment and investment of Metro to have a member of the board speak directly to Metro's goals in terms of participation and giving you a general update on, the wealth of construction opportunities at place in Metro. So we absolutely thank the supervisor / board member for agreeing to participate in today's event. So at this juncture, to give you a little more information about kind of the big picture objective in terms of Metro's approach and resources and information about their efforts towards inclusion and diversity and participation, I'm going to turn this back over to my friend and partner, Mr. Compton, to give us more information. Keith?
Thank you, Ingrid. And I do want to say a little bit more about Supervisor Holly Mitchell. She was elected to serve on November 3rd, 2020 as County Supervisor, the 2nd District, stretching from the heart of Screenland in Culver City to the hub city of Compton. Wanted to put that in there. As Supervisor, Supervisor Mitchell is proud to serve the 2 million residents of the 2nd District, which includes the neighborhood she grew up in, which is Leimert Park. Throughout her career in public service, Supervisor Mitchell has always worked with the understanding that creating a California where all residents can thrive means investing in the communities, families, and children of LA County. During her tenure in the California State Legislature, Supervisor Mitchell represented the 54th District for 3 years as an assembly member and later served 7 years as state senator for the 30th District. As state senator, she also held the distinction of being the first African-American to serve as chair of the Senate Budget and Fiscal Review Committee. In her short time in office, Supervisor Mitchell has led motions to aid specifically communities of color in the economic recovery during COVID-19 and establishing pathways to economic resiliency for small and micro businesses. Mitchell sits on the Metro Board of Directors and is a staunch supporter of Metro's Contractor Development and Bonding Program. And I wanted to mention that because people on our board are very serious about these programs, and the capacity building is a huge area of support for Metro. And I'd like to talk a little bit now about what we have available for small businesses. So if we can go to the next slide. One of the things that we love to do is show businesses, small businesses, how to get through the door at LA Metro. And we have many programs. And if you would go to metro.net/connect, you'll find a lot of information about how to start doing business with Metro. If we go to the next slide. Some of the things that you'll find there are programs and initiatives. Some come from our department, some come from our Metro board, and some come from other agencies where we take programs without trying to reinvent the wheel and customize them for our region to better support small businesses. One such program is a small business Prime set aside. This is where we take contracts that we feel certified small businesses are able to prime, and we only allow certified small businesses to compete for those contracts. So anyone who is awarded a small business contract, small business prime set aside contract, they become the prime on that contract. And if you're not a small business certified as an SPE by Metro, you can't even compete for those. And we've listened to our small business community who said, well, after our SPE and our DBE program, there's no place for us to go. So we have rolled out a medium-sized business program. We listen to our small businesses. We have our publicized contracting opportunities on this same webpage. It's on our vendor portal. So if you go to metro.net/connect, you click on vendor portal, you'll see all of our solicitations. And of course, with Meriwether and Williams, we have our bonding and contractor development program. There's another program that I'm working on, which is called our Contractor Outreach and Mentoring Program, or COMP. This is a mentor protege program that we have. And when we look at solicitations that we're going to put out on the street and we determine that there's a mentor protege capacity that we could implement, then we will put that into the solicitation. And yes, the contractors that bid on those contracts have to put a mentor protege program together and include it in their proposal, and we do grade those. We also have a 12-month look ahead. So we don't just post what's out on the street. We also post what we think we're going to be doing, which gives you a little bit more time to prepare. Next. So remember, it's metro.net/connect. Next slide. And one of the things you'll find on metro.net, because we know any large agency, there's a lot to navigating it. We put together a business toolkit, and you can download it. It's online, and it sort of walks you through what you need to know to do business with us. And as some of you who are already certified, you already know that the Metro certification is all online now. There's no paperwork to drop off and no mailbox. And I'm glad we went to that because COVID kind of closed down our building anyway. So you couldn't, you know, the public doesn't have access to the building anymore, but the certification process is all online. And then we have the vendor registration, and anyone can register as a vendor on our vendor portal. So if you haven't already registered as a vendor, you want to do that. Another way of looking at this vendor registration, and the vendor registration is not a certification. All it does is, it's like an application to recognize you as a business. That's all it is. Metro cannot cut a check to anyone who does not have a vendor registration number. I have to have a vendor registration number if I drive a Metro car and I have to get reimbursed for gas. In order for them to issue me a reimbursement, I have to have a registration number. So think of it that way. In order for them to pay anybody, you have to be registered as a vendor. And then of course, I believe this is being worked on right now, but the Metro Certified SBE DBE database, if you're searching for SBE or DBE or want to see your status, I believe this is being worked on, but you can also access this online. Next slide. So one of the things I'm really proud of that we do is the second Tuesday of every month, we offer free How to Do Business with Metro workshops. And that's exactly what the workshop is. We walk through what you need to know to do business with Metro. And we'll invite different speakers from the audit department, from certification, from pre-qual, all of these different departments within Metro to talk about what you need to know to do business with Metro. We find these very, very helpful. And there's no limit to how many you can attend. We encourage people to keep coming back because the more times you attend these meetings, of course, the more you learn. And the speakers are not always the same. So this, I would put at the top of the list. Make sure you attend the How to Do Business with Metro events. We do a lot of outreach. We did more, of course, when COVID hadn't affected us, but we did events like Meet the Primes. where we ask our prime contractors to come in, and we would invite our small businesses, and small businesses would come in, and it would be an evening where you could talk to the prime contractors and ask them questions, what they wanted to see in small businesses, how could they team up with them. We did the same thing with Meet the Buyers. We would put our Metro buyers out at tables and invite small businesses, disadvantaged businesses to come in and talk to them. We also do the lunch and learn. Of course, we're doing these things virtually now, and we'll have different educational sessions during, the lunch hour, and people could ask questions about pre-qual or whatever the topic is that we're hosting that particular day. But these are the kinds of things that we like to do to take the mystery out of how to do business with Metro for small businesses. The Coffee and Conversation series I really like because it's a more casual environment, but the purpose is the same. For our small business specialty workshops, of course, I mentioned certification, pre-qual before, but there are some areas that require a little bit more time. And when small businesses say they would like more information on certification, audit, pre-proposal conferences, we host those as well. So be looking out for those, and feel free to send us suggestions on workshops you would like to see. Next. So in essence, what we try to do, again, is take the guesswork out of doing business with Metro. We call it building bridges. And I like to say our success is dependent upon your success, because our board members want to know how many small businesses got contracts, how many prime contractors achieved their goal. If you guys aren't doing well, then we're not doing well. So your success is our success, and we want you to be successful. So please come to our meetings, How to Do Business with Metro. Continue to work with Meriwether and Williams, and let's build Los Angeles together.
Thank you, Keith. Those just the run through and the orientation on really all the many initiatives and how comprehensive it is that Metro, resources the needs of this community is just continues to be impressive. And I have to chime in that, small contractors' success affects you. It's what the board's interested in. The primes, of course, want to make sure they're meeting their objectives, and that certainly transcends to us as well. So what you have is a lot of shared interest towards the same goal, and that is the successful participation of the small, local, diverse contractor community. So that, to me, seems like the type of ecosystem and the right kind of environment, for you to take a leap of faith and fully participate, enroll in our program. I can assure you that we can help you navigate a number of the kind of areas that you need to get through the process, and so that you can more fully participate. So thank you again, Keith. And as Keith had referenced earlier in his comments, today we're joined by two representatives from Skanska. Really, everybody's probably already familiar with the organization. They have a very dominant presence in infrastructure and construction infrastructure in LA, but really throughout the country. And, from our perspective, having partners, especially representatives of the prime community, are so important, because in many cases, they are the ones that make the opportunities available, particularly subcontracting opportunities. And I have to say, we've had a relationship with Skanska probably going back more than a decade. I see Michael here that I haven't seen since probably LAUSD days. So these are people who are really committed to this issue. Theresa has been there for a very long time and in this role. So I think it speaks to Skanska's, commitment that you don't see a lot of turnover and new people coming into these capacities who don't have a depth of experience on the issues. And again, it's just a statement of their commitment. I want to acknowledge Skanska has been what we call a prime partner to the program for more than a decade. They have sponsored many of our trainings. They've been teaching a number of our contractor training academies on bidding and estimating and contract management. And really that's invaluable because that's where you're going to hear from folks who have a depth of expertise in terms of their practices, what they're looking for, sharing their insight, their tricks of the trade, if you will, that all of you can gain enhanced knowledge and understanding going towards your successful participation. So with that, I would like to introduce Michael Richardson and Theresa Maxwell of Skanska.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you. And I would like to extend a thank you to Supervisor Mitchell and a welcome to all of the participants. This is a great opportunity for everybody, but again, it's your participation and following all the guidelines and the rules that set up to participate, but building what matters. Next slide, please. Okay, project, we're gonna go over this briefly. Introduction to speakers in Skanska, project highlights and current projects in Los Angeles, bidding opportunities, how to continue the conversation, right? That's what we're gonna share with you today, what we have and how you can participate with us. Next slide, please. So, DBE compliance and outreach, right? I'm gonna turn it over to Theresa because she has 18 years in the construction industry. She's been with Skanska for 6 years, and she is a fabulous, fabulous advocate for DBEs and small businesses. Theresa Maxwell.
Too kind. Thank you, Michael. You could probably tell Michael and I have been working together in Los Angeles a long time, and we really enjoy what we do. I have been in construction longer than many people think. I worked for I'd say a mid-sized company before I came to Skanska, and unfortunately that company had to close its business. And so I bring a unique perspective, I think, to Skanska, where I've always worked for a prime contractor, but knowing what it's like to be a smaller company and then now having the resources here at Skanska, we really, both Michael and I, a big part of what we want to do is help build and make sure that subcontractors are successful in working with us on these exciting projects in LA. But I know Ingrid said everybody knows us, but not everybody knows who Skanska is. I recognize some of our participants, but if you'd go to the next slide, I kind of just threw up on here a little bit of information about Skanska. We're one of the world's leading construction and development companies in the United States. Our core kind of like competencies are going to be building, which is more of your commercial and schools and hospitals. And then we also have a commercial development group. And then Michael and I work for our civil infrastructure group. And so we work on the transportation projects, and our focus for me, 6 years, for Michael, the last 7 years, has been on the Los Angeles region. And I have on here our values, and I just want to briefly share, these are our core values, and this is important for us to share with you because every company that you bid to, you want to make sure you understand what does that company believe in, and companies are made up of people. So you really, I'd encourage any small business, don't just be giving your price out and bidding to everyone. You want to make sure that you know who you're bidding to. And Metro is an excellent client of ours. I've worked with them for pretty much 13 years. And so, yeah, we'll definitely be building a lot more with the Olympics coming. Go ahead to the next slide. This slide just has projects all across the United States. If any of you go on the 210 and you see the baskets that are made out of that bridge, that was one of the projects locally that Skanska completed. The Expo line, I think it was Expo 2 line to Santa Monica. Michael worked on that project. But I am going to share the next 4 slides. Skanska has 4 active projects in Los Angeles. And go ahead to the first one is the Regional Connector Project. This is an exciting project for Metro and for Skanska. It's a joint venture. This project has been going on since like 2014. It was an extension of the Gold Line that ends right now at Union Station. It's going to connect it to the Expo, and I forget the colors now. They changed the colors on me, but it's going to connect it. It has 3 new subway stations, and the tunneling has been done for over a year now. So right now, this project, the stations, the finishing, that's the type of bid opportunities we'll be sharing. And this project, it has an 18% DBE goal. And go ahead to the next project. The West Side Purple Line extension. So this is section 1. Right now, if you're familiar with the Purple Line, it ends at Wilshire and Western. So this is extending 4 miles west under Wilshire Boulevard. And then another contractor is taking it in the other 4 miles to the VA station, hospitals where it's going to end. But this project, it's the first 4 miles, again, another 3 new underground stations. And the underground station locations are listed here. And this project has a 17% DBE goal. It's also design build, and we've recently finished the tunneling. So now that the tunnel's there, the focus is on the stations. And go ahead to our next project. So the 6th Street Bridge, I don't have any upcoming known bid opportunities on this project, but it is exciting. And anybody who's driven under the 101 freeway recently, you've probably seen the arches are now beginning to take shape. And so, yeah, this project will be done next year. But yeah, no real bid opportunities at this time. But when we talk about how to continue the conversation, you'll learn how to find out if something does become available. And our last project, go to the next slide. This one we recently got. LAWA is the Los Angeles World Airports. And so right outside of the LAX, it's about a $300 million project, which is made up of a bunch of other little projects. You probably can't see the map here. It's a little too small, but it's there to kind of represent the fact that the projects, some of them are in the terminal area, but majority of them are around the project. And the RU, what it stands for is Roadway, Utility, and Enabling Project. So we are making roadway changes, utilities are being relocated, and all of that is to enable access to the Conrack, which is the new rental car facility that another contractor is building in the area. And yeah, anyone who's driven around LAX, you see these huge things, the people movers coming. And so the streets need to be realigned. And there's some other improvements that we are working on. And this is also, like I said, we just started it. It's a 5-year-long project. There are some opportunities now that I'll share, and there will be more in the future as well for small businesses. And go ahead to the next slide. So what we do to try and help, besides outreach like this, where we can, we only have time to kind of touch high level on these bid opportunities and the projects, but when we do have a bid opportunity for any of the like the West Side or regional, we'll actually host a RFP specific pre-bid meeting, and it's held virtually. And at that meeting, we do go in depth into more, I don't want to say like heavy topics, but they kind of are, right? We talk about DBEs. You know, I mentioned 18% goal at regional, 17% goal at Westside. These are $1 billion, on Westside's $2 billion projects. So these goals are high, and it's important to Skanska, not just that we reach this goal, but how we reach that goal. And we want all of our DBE firms to understand the commercially useful function. And a lot of times training is provided on how to get certified. I saw someone had a question about his certification. And we always like to at least spend, and I just have this one slide on it. We do like to mention that there are commercially useful function rules. And like I said, they're set in place to make sure that the small business community is treated fairly, and that the small businesses that are working on our projects are the ones that are doing the work that we're taking credit for. So if you're not familiar with commercially useful function, or if there's other topics that you would like to learn about, like the Metro PLA, please, I do invite you to attend any of our pre-bid meetings. And the next slide, I think, has all of our current bid opportunities. So the ones on the top, that's the current bid dates are out, and the bid dates actually already changed. So Lowry Waterline, it says August 13th. It's actually August 20th now. The West Side Furnish Illuminated Handrail. So again, you know, that's something that's in the stations. That got moved to August 20th. So these are, if you're interested in any of these, please let me know. My email address will be on the last slide. And, you know, Keith mentioned future bid opportunities, but we put on ours the future bid opportunities that I know about today. Metro's way better. They have a huge list of what is coming up in like the next year. I can barely get from our procurement team what's coming out, you know, this next quarter. But that kind of gives you an idea of what we know we're going to be looking for. So probably the next one to come out will be the construction masonry units on the Lowry project. So if anyone's interested in that, please be sure to let me know. And yeah, go to that next slide. For the Lowry projects, this is our online plan room, and you can go to that bit.ly, and I'll share it in the chat room when I finish here. And you can go there, and it actually takes you to all of the projects Skanska's bidding out of our Riverside office. So not just Los Angeles, but there are other projects like in Victorville. I think they're looking at one right now for Caltrans, and there's other projects that you can go there. You can register, say you're interested, sign up for an RFP package, and then you can download plans and specs. You can ask questions of the estimators. And if you're not familiar with Building Connected, it is a free to you. And other contractors use it. I know Clark uses it, and a couple of others do as well. So if you've already got an account, it should be pretty easy to sign up. And the next slide, please. Oh, so here's my email address. So I mentioned that those bids had already changed. How do you keep in touch with us? How do you know what we're doing? You know, events like this are all in our, we kind of call it an e-newsletter. We send it out about twice a month. And in that we put, you know, what's out to bid now, what's upcoming that we know about, and then what events are we at? You know, is there, I know Metro's got a hiring fair for Women Build Metro. So we've got that flyer in there to encourage contractors to share the information with any interested women that would like to get into the trades. So please, if you would like to know what's Michael and Theresa doing, sign up here. And yeah, I'll put that link in the chat room as well. And I think with that, I have to apologize. The next slide has a typo. It's a pretty important one. It's actually, one of the questions was talking about dealing with the unions, and helping small businesses deal with the unions is definitely something that Michael and I are very passionate about. And this town hall is August 18th, not the 19th. I'm sorry for that, but I'm going to hand it over to Michael to talk about what our topic is this month.
Go ahead. I want you to continue. You're doing such a good job, T. I'm just enjoying this, right? You're doing wonderful. Keep going, T.
This is our last slide. So So this, like I said, I saw a question specifically asking about dealing with the unions and small businesses. Michael deals with the unions every day, all right? I go to him with all my questions, and not every company has a Michael Richardson that works full-time with the unions and the PLAs and has his experience. And so we started once a month this town hall. The first 6 months of 2020, we focused on workforce diversity, finding these diverse workers. And now the last 6 months, now we're focusing on retention and things that, small businesses can do. Because once you hire these workers, you really, it's to all of our benefit in the industry to help and support them. And so this month, I'm really excited because I'm going to learn something. It's on the union grievance process. So, Michael has gone through it probably more times than he wants to admit. And he just throws terms out like, oh, step 2 is coming up. And we're like, what was step 1, right? So if you're interested in learning what the union grievance processes is, and not just that, but best practices for going through each step, I highly encourage you to attend our August 18th at 9 a.m. town hall. Michael will be speaking, but we also, Michael, who's our guest speaker? Is it from the building trades? I think it was someone.
It's Tony. It's Tony. We're going to have several different speakers, but we're going to have people from the building trades that's speaking. And I'm thinking about one other contractor to bring in. And the reason being why these town halls are so important and critical for the success of the small contractors, it's more about prevention. What can you do to prevent from getting grievances? How can you mitigate this, right? What should you do for, to prepare for different lawsuits that's coming up, because they're going to come. If you're in this industry, you know that that's just part of the industry, right? But what can you do as a small business, right? How can you follow all of the union guidelines? How can you know what your project labor agreement states, right? The do's and don'ts. So each month, we're going to go over different subject matters, right? This month is grievances, right? And you guys that's out there, we listen. You know how Keith said about listening? We listen. If there's something that you want us to present in one of our town hall meetings, all you have to do is let us know and we'll add it. We look for different topics. We want topics that you guys are interested in, that you want the information on, right? And so this is driven basically by me and T, but with your input.
Yeah. And with that, are there any questions perhaps that we didn't verbally respond to? That's all.
Theresa, there was a question that was submitted that maybe it would be timely just for you to respond to, but I think someone asked, how do you get a one-on-one with a prime contractor? So maybe you can speak to that from Skanska's perspective.
Email connie.i.brown@skanska.com and she will let her know, let Connie know you met us here at this event and you're interested in finding out about opportunities and you got to let her know what it is, because, the one-on-one, it might be more appropriate for you to talk to our procurement manager or to talk to maybe a project executive, or perhaps depending on what your company does, if it's a service, maybe it's me. It just depends on what it is that you're looking for. But email Connie and I'll put her email in the chat room. So if you're looking for me, reach out to me. For other prime contractors, a lot of them do have diversity and inclusion or a compliance outreach person. And I would recommend starting with that person. And, a big part of their job would be matchmaking interested subs and small businesses with who needs their services. And so, I definitely think emailing is probably the quickest way. Does that answer the question?
It does. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yes.
It was one other question, the project manager question. Send myself or Theresa your resume, and then we'll forward it to HR for you. Or you can register on Indeed under Skanska, and upload your resume there, and then you'll start getting all of the different opportunities that we have. But you can always send your resume to myself or Theresa, and we'll forward it out for you. Okay.
Great. Thank you for checking that, Michael. And thank you both for really the very relevant information, that you all presented. And I'm also going to just add one more thank you, because you guys have always been supportive of the contractor development program and participated and brought your expertise in that environment, which is so helpful. So for all of you listening, what's great about that, when you enroll in one of our academies, they're multiple weeks. They're usually 6 or 7 weeks. And you have folks like the top estimators at Skanska, for example, who are teaching that class. And so you're getting to interact with them over an extended period of time. It's a little more than, a Meet the Prime event where you might have a minute or two at their table. This is week after week after week that you are interfacing with, some of the expertise and the top professional at Skanska. So you really get to know them. They get to know you. You're interacting. So I'm going to just use this as a plug and a commercial to promote the contractor training academies through Metro's program, because it'll give you exposure and interaction with folks at Skanska, for example, at a very deep and immersive level. So I just want to, again, thank you guys for always being so supportive and bringing your best to the table that helps support the community we share an interest in. So with that, we're going to move to the next portion of the program, and that's to really give you more information about Metro's contractor development and bonding program. And so this part of the presentation, Robert Lowry and I kind of share and tag team. So I'll start with the presentation. Are we starting with the poll question first, Mildred, or is that after?
That's after.
Okay.
So once Robert shares his screen, we'll do a poll question and we'll continue with presentations.
Okay, so we're making sure you guys are all engaged and staying alert. So there's going to be a poll question coming in a little while. So we want to make sure that you're active in this. What you gain from these types of interactions and opportunities is largely on how well you're engaged and ask questions and interact with us. I think that's when you walk away with the best benefit of this. So if you can advance the slide. So just really give you some brief orientation about our firm and how is it that we're doing this work. So although by licensed, we're a property and casualty insurance brokerage firm, we're really more known for what I'll call contractor development programs, bonding, contract financing, because we recognized many, many, many years ago when we started the firm, really, which is 24 years now, that insurance requirements, bonding requirements, other kind of technical requirements that are associated with public construction were really in general a challenge for smaller contractors. We understand why public agencies have to have the requirements they do. Things like bonding is a federal law. It's not like a discretionary consideration for an agency, but it also contradicted with the goals of inclusion and diversity that these agencies were trying to achieve. So we said, this is our industry. We're a risk management firm. We deal with insurance. We deal with bonding. Why can't it be approached in a way that achieves the requirement of protecting the project and mitigating risk, but can't it be done in a way that also enables inclusion and participation of the local community where those projects are taking place? So that's really how we came to do the body of work that we do now, and again, what we're more known for. So I guess the other point I would make about our firm is we too are a small business, a woman-owned business, a minority-owned business. And so there's a ability to relate and understand the kinds of challenges that the contractors that we work with encounter, because although in the professional services world, we encounter many of those same obstacles. And so we want our program and this resource and our partnership with Metro to really be a safe place for you to come and to engage with us and feel comfortable about sharing where your business is at, what your needs are, what may be holding you back. And going back to what Keith said earlier, your success is our success. We have KPIs to report on a regular basis to Metro, and they want to see movement. They want to see that contractors who enroll in their program and that we work with evolve and move from one place to the next place, building capacity along the way, and hopefully accessing contracting opportunities in the process. And that's really what we're evaluated on, and that's really what we're committed to. Next slide. So just to give you kind of a broad brush understanding of what the components are of the program, and hopefully this is legible to you. I know it's kind of small print, but we refer to them as the 4 pillars. And it really starts with an assessment. So this is an assessment-based program. We don't have a generic McDonald's approach that everybody who enrolls goes through the exact same process, receives the exact same services. It is really tailored to the individual needs of each contractor. We recognize that all of you are in different places in terms of where your business is, where it's been, what obstacles you may need to overcome. And so that really is the starting point, so that the services that you receive from Metro's program are really tailored to your unique needs. Then based on that assessment, we really develop a work plan where we agree with you and identify areas where you could benefit from some improvements or some more training or some financial resources. So for example, the resources of the program include things like bonding assistance. So, we all understand that bonding can be a barrier for small contractors. And so we've been at this for about 25 years. We've done about $1 billion of bonding for contractors that match the profile of pretty much all of you. And so it's a barrier that can be overcome. And the program is designed to put the resources in place and help you to address that. Broad range of technical support. We don't even bother putting a list here. Just consider it kind of any and everything you might encounter. Now, we may not go into the same depth around union relations that you heard from Skanska, and I really encourage you to participate in the monthly workshop series that they were talking about, because we know this is an area of challenge for small contractors, and it can be complicated, and it really requires folks with special knowledge. So that would be someplace where we would connect you with a source that is going to go into depth in that arena. But most other areas are going to be areas that we address, that we have encountered with the hundreds of contractors that we have worked with over the last 25 years and assisted in navigating them through the process. Education and training, we talked a little bit about our contractor training academies. So those go on multiple times during the year. The focus on them is bidding and estimating, construction and contract management, I believe. And these are immersive training programs. They're not, just kind of the top line, the top level information you need. They go into depth. So we're talking 12, 13 hours of training specific to something like bidding and estimating. And again, we're pulling on the best in the business in terms of bringing their knowledge and expertise to the table to work with you. So it's intentionally a small group program. So you're not going to be in a class, a virtual class these days with 50 people. There's going to be 12, 13, 15 at the most. And that's really by design. That gives you an opportunity to have a lot of individualized interaction to bring up your specific situations. And then again, we've got folks with the expertise and knowledge that can respond directly to you and work closely with you. We have actually had situations where contractors who participated in one of these training academies get to know the presenter from the prime contractor who partnered with us. And as a result, that relationship formed and they were awarded a contract. That's happened more than once. So it's a great kind of enhanced networking opportunity, if you will, because it gives you really time in a more intimate setting to have a longer term interaction with the prime contracting community. And that's something that falls under our prime partnership program. Next slide, please. Okay, so just to make sure everybody is on the same page, because there's not always a broad understanding about really what bonding is. And I think in addition to understanding what bonding is, I want everybody to think more broadly in terms of, one, why public agencies would insist on their projects being bonded, why it is there's more of a process to qualifying for bonding, why prime contractors oftentimes as part of their pre-qualification process want to understand, can you bond a project even if they may not ultimately require that you post a bond? So bonding is more than just a piece of paper or more than like an insurance policy. It really speaks volumes in terms of the status of your business, and it's kind of a third-party validation of the capacity of your business at any given time. So really the structure of a bond, it's designed to protect someone else. It's not really designed to protect you yourself, although you're the principal in the bond. The purpose of the bond is to provide assurance to another party. That could be the owner of the project like Metro, or if you're a subcontractor, that would be to the prime contractor like Skanska. It's an assurance to them that you will successfully complete the work in your contract and that you will meet all the financial obligations under the contract. That means covering your labor expenses, paying any union obligations, material suppliers, subcontractors that you may bring in. That is really the technical purpose of a bond. It is providing that level of certainty, guaranteeing your performance to the owner, or if you're a subcontractor, to the prime contractor. So for that reason, a bond is unlike insurance, that pretty much you submit an application through your broker, and as long as you can afford the premium, you can purchase an insurance policy. Bonding is not that way. Bonding is really better seen as credit. They even refer to it as bonding credit or bonding capacity. And it's because the nature of bonding is this kind of contract performance guarantee and a financial performance guarantee to another party. So clearly, in order for you to be able to qualify for that, it's about a lot more than whether or not you can pay the premium. One of the reasons is, unlike insurance, bonding companies look to recover from claims or losses. So all of us are familiar with, standard insurance, auto insurance, for example. That's kind of common for all of us. If you have an auto accident and the insurance company pays the claim, they don't come to you to get the money back. I mean, other than your deductible, they already expect that when the claim is paid, that's coming out of their pocket, and your payment of the premium basically sets that up where you're not paying the claim itself. That's the purpose you buy insurance. Okay, well, that's completely different with bonding. Bonding is set up more like a loan with a bank. It's a form of credit. So when a bank gives you a loan, if you don't pay the loan, we all understand the bank has recourse and remedy and holds collateral and files the necessary paperwork to take advantage of whatever way they have available to them to recover the loan or the portion of the loan that went unpaid. That's really how you have to think about bonding. And you can't access credit by just showing up in the bank. You've got paperwork. You have to basically present a case that you're a good credit risk. Essentially, that's the same thing with bonding. So why is bonding necessary? Well, you know, technically it's mandated by law. There's a federal language called the Hurd Act and the Miller Act, and then there's local language, but at minimum, any public works construction over $100,000 has to be bonded, because really we're talking about public dollars, right? These are public construction is most often supported by public taxpayer dollars. So there is a fiduciary responsibility from someone like Metro to make sure that when they hire contractors to perform the work that are being paid for by taxpayer dollars, they have some source of recourse in the event the contractor fails to complete the project. That's really what bonding does. You can go to the next slide. Thank you. So here's really just kind of some tips on how to take advantage of the Metro's contractor development and bonding program. So you want to start with an enrollment. That's where this assessment process starts. And this isn't quick, fast, and in a hurry. It's not intended to be. This is to start the process where we really develop a relationship with you. When you first enroll the program, you are assigned an account manager. So we have with us today, Rick Casillas, who's one of the account managers in the program. And the purpose of you having an account manager is that we want to get to know your business. We want to understand the full breadth of what your needs are. And we don't want to pass you around to different team members for different needs. So the purpose is that each account manager has a portfolio of contractors. So you become part of an account manager's portfolio and really get the focused attention from our account manager to assist you with the entire span of resources that you need. It also gives them the opportunity to understand you, to understand your business, your specialty trades, for example, because we do interact with the prime contractors and with the owners. So we're in a position to put forth your name and your profile, if you will, in terms of when they're looking for a particular small certified contractor to fulfill their participation goals. So we think that's best achieved when we really get to know you and develop a relationship with you over time. But it starts with enrolling in the program, the assessment process, and then developing the work plan that we then work with you collaboratively going forward to make substantial improvements in the positioning of your business. But I also want to make it clear, you can go to the next slide, Robert, that it isn't a program where you have to go through the entire process before you can be provided some of the financial resources of the program. So it's designed to help you work towards building the capacity of your business. But if you have an imminent opportunity, then we shift our focus from the longer term capacity building to what is it that you may need to take advantage of that immediate opportunity. So you're in an ongoing phase of contractor development, but let's say there is a set aside opportunity at Metro that is in your scope of work that you want to bid on. Well, now we're going to change up because now you may need a bond, for example. So we're going to continue the longer term contractor development, but our focus then becomes how do we assist you in bidding on a particular opportunity. And that may mean, for example, providing you bonding support, which the program allows us to do. So I just want to kind of emphasize that because I understand as a small contractor, you know, when folks talk about training and development, you have to do that, but you have to do that at the same time that you're trying to access as many immediate contract opportunities as you can. And so you need both kind of the long-term development resources, but you also need the immediate financial resources to take advantage of an opportunity that may be before you. So the bonding support aspect of the program, for example, it's designed to help you qualify for your first bond or increase your bonding capacity. It comes with project risk identification and mitigation. So understand that really the purpose of the program, it's not just, okay, we helped you get a bond, good luck on the project. No, in many cases, we're actually putting forth agency resources and agency-backed financial support. So in the case of Metro's program, Metro will put up as much as $250,000 of collateral to a bonding company to induce them to provide a bond for you if you maybe would not qualify otherwise. It also means they're putting up resources that then you don't have to, because some bonding companies will agree to provide you a bond, but they want your collateral. And that means, you know, a letter of credit, or in some cases, you know, you having to put up property. And we prefer that you have an alternative means for that type of backing, because we would rather you hold on to a line of credit to make sure you have some funding to cover your costs related to the project. So again, that's where Metro puts its money where its mouth is in terms of making an investment in this program and providing specific financial resources that back you to help you meet the requirements that you may encounter. Next slide, please. So I really talked already a lot about education and training. So I just want to underscore that I spoke mostly of the construction training academies. Those are the multi-week in-depth immersions, but there's so much more than that. We do monthly workshops on a range of topics, group classes, best practices. So all of you may feel like inundated by getting information from us promoting something that's upcoming. But it's really important, and we do a lot of repetition because obviously there are new contractors coming into the arena all the time, but it also gives you an opportunity to refresh your knowledge in certain subject matters. Next slide. Talked about the Prime Partnership Program. So really this is the strategic alliance with the prime contracting community that includes matchmaking. The prime contractors know that the resources of this program are designed to help you attain what you may need, whether it's bonding or some other type of support. They know that we help you get pre-qualified for bonding, that we can assist you in pre-qualifying for a prime contractor. So it's commonplace for them to reach out to us when they are looking for a certified contractor for a particular need or opportunity. Next slide. So these are just kind of a couple of illustrations so that you can see kind of in substance some of the things that we've been talking about. So the illustration on the left, that's this the assessment and work plan. And then the illustration on the right is the contractor profile. And really the profile is intended to give you the capacity to present to, say, a prime contractor or an owner, something that is in depth in terms of your business. So we help you put these together. You can see this one has a picture of a project of the contractors. It goes into detail. So it's much more than just, you know, your name, contact, and your certification information. It goes into great detail. Next slide. And Robert, ping me when I've transitioned into your space, because sometimes I just keep going. Okay, so just a little bit so you know what is the impact of some of the resources of the program. So this is really just kind of an illustration. I'm not going to go into it in detail, but collateral makes a difference. When we have the ability to put collateral up on your behalf, so as I said, Metro will provide up to $250,000 of collateral that we can post with the bonding company. And this is in the form of an irrevocable letter of credit. So, you know, this is an instrument that the bonding company on its own can go draw on. It's not a written letter saying we'll promise to back this contractor. It's an actual letter of credit that is issued by the line of credit facility that Metro set up specifically for this purpose. And when we post collateral with the bonding company, that becomes a condition for them to provide a bond for you because you may not meet what are really very high standards in terms of underwriting. It's very impactful, not just because of the dollar amount, but it's being backed by Metro. So what that means is that Metro now has a financial commitment to your successful completion of the contract. So when I talk about putting your money where your mouth is, it doesn't really get any better than that. There's not much stronger evidence than an agency's willingness to put its own financial capacity behind you. And so it becomes very meaningful to the bonding company who accepts that as, okay, well, Metro is investing in the success of this contractor and their completion of the contract. Therefore, we're going to approve them for bonding capacity. So we've had situations where $250,000 of collateral helped a contractor get approved for a $9 million bond. And so just to say it's a tool in our toolbox that I guess you would call it the hammer because it's the tool that's most effective, used most often and has proven to be very impactful. Next slide. These are just a couple of other examples. Here is a contractor that was a concrete and demolition contractor for a Metro project, and we were able to post collateral that helped that contractor secure a bid of $1.1 million. Another contractor, metals and glass contractor, $250,000 of collateral enabled them to qualify for a bond to support a $5 million contract. So there is a relationship between where you are as a contractor and how much $250,000 has an impact. So if you're small and just starting off, it's not likely that $250,000 is going to help you secure a $5 million bond. And to be honest with you, if you're small and starting out, you probably shouldn't be looking at a $5 million contract just yet. So I don't want to give false assurances that, you know, this collateral means you can get a $10, $20 million bond or a $10, $20 million contract. It does have a relationship to really where you are as a contractor. But as you can see, it can be quite impactful. Next slide. And I think that is my cue that I am going to turn this back over to Mildred. But before I do, I want to introduce Robert Lowry, who's going to talk about the technical assistance in the program, the field support that we give you. And I just want to say to help you understand the importance of that role is we are wedded to your successful contract completion. That means we're with you at the very beginning to help you secure the contract all the way through the end of your successful completion of the contract. So that technical assistance and contract support you get after the contract awarded is very critical, important, and invaluable to you. And Robert will speak to that after we finish the poll question. So I'll turn it back over to Mildred.
Thank you, Ingrid. So we have a poll question. I'll go ahead and launch it. So it reads, would you like to enroll in the program in order to receive technical assistance and resources? I'll give the audience 30 seconds to respond. Thank you, everyone, for participating. Now, Robert, I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you. So, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Robert Lowry, like Ingrid introduced. I'm the Field Support Project Manager And a little bit about me, I've been doing project management in the construction industry for over 25 years. I have been with a large GC, a small GC, owner's rep. So I have touched just about every aspect of construction. So with that, this is one of my passions of providing technical support to the small contractors, with some lessons learned, et cetera, because like I said, that is success of you growing your business. So one thing that we do on the technical support is the bid document review. So when you do go after some opportunities, you're going to contact your account manager, and then they will let me know, all right, this contractor is seeking a bid opportunity. So the account manager or myself or someone from our team will attend the pre-bid also with you, so we can get more information that we are keyed in on to listen for and ask the right questions to assist you as you're preparing your bid documents. Once you do that, we'll sit down with you and go through the contract and review it. We also review the plans and specs. We do that just to highlight or identify any risks or red flags that I see that could be a challenge for you. A lot of times, when you read the terms and conditions of that contract before you want to bid on this, you can say, oh yeah, this is good. I can understand it. Also, we will redline it to say, okay, negotiate these terms here if you're awarded the project. So that also helps you with the go or no go on bid opportunities. Then also we'll, like I said, identify risks. Also identify required bid documents. And like I said, there's some small print. We have a disclosure. We assist you with your bid documentation, not your numbers. We're here to look at your documentations for Metro because they have the lowest bid and also the most responsive bidder as well. So being responsive to their bid is filling out all the required documentations, and there are quite a bit of forms. And we go through that, myself or the account manager will go through initially and say, hey, you missed this. Let's go back, and we'll redline and send it to you. You will make the change and send it back, because that is a lot of times the critical. Your numbers can be great, but if your documentation is off, you will not be awarded, you'll be disqualified. For the numbers, I can look at your numbers and see that you might be close, and I might suggest, hey, go back into your general conditions. Did you cover, cleanup, et cetera? So that way you know what to make sure that's in your overhead and profit general conditions. And then we also will then, like I said, with the final bid documentation review before you submit, we want to go through it one last time to make sure everything is there. And then after the bid documents, we can do a debrief if you were not successful to find out, what areas you need to improve on. So this is a constant improvement process that we do. So if you don't get a project, we can still work with you on future, and I can do one-on-one coaching to assist you so you're better prepared with upcoming bids. And then once you are awarded a job, we do contract support, and we have a kickoff meeting with the entire team, with the prime or the agency, yourself, our team, funds control, everyone gets on a call, and we go through the process to make sure that everybody understands their roles. We also have a job start checklist that I can, work with you to make sure that you have everything covered before you have boots on the ground. It's critical that you do your homework first, because once you get out in the field, they're expecting you to keep moving with this project. We don't want to have any delays. So also that was one thing we do. We also have monthly status reports. We have a contract status report that the primes or the owners will fill out. Then we have a principal status report that you, if you're the subcontractor, that fills out. And you submit that to me on a monthly basis, and I look at those to see if you're progressing satisfactory. I look at your billing, if there's any incidents. And then I compare that with the contract status reports, And then with the funds control reports, we look at the financial, seeing that the money coming in is money going out. So there's a lot of opportunities there. We also do the billings and payments. I can work with you on your payments. We sit down at the beginning and make sure you identify the requirements for your billing packets. The G702, G703, what documents that's required that you need to submit. And one key thing we like to do is have you to sit down with the hiring agency to say, what are your requirements? Get a sample. So that way your billing is not rejected. So that is building that relationship with the prime or the owner at the very beginning. We look at your construction schedule to look at your general conditions. So there's a lot of pieces that we put together to make sure that you're going to successfully complete the project. Also, prior to COVID, and hopefully soon, we'll be able to do site visits. So there is a detailed report on the site visits. I go out to the site, I talk to your field team, get some information with them, see if there's any support they need from me, and also if the prime is out there, work with them. So it's a collaboration that I do with the prime and the subcontractor or the subcontractor, so that we're working together to get through some of the hurdles. We also do change order reviews, because that's a critical thing that I do teach some classes on change orders, how to put the packet together, knowing what to go in there, the detail. Like I tell when I'm coaching you, a change order is like, you're telling the story. It's like when you go to court, you want to win. So it takes some preparation and also your change order log, so you can have intelligent conversations with the owner to reconcile monthly of change orders. So that's a critical thing. And then at the end, we also work with you on the closeout. We need to get a notice of completion from the prime, so then we can now start the process with the bond and the collateral. So once everything is done, then we can release the collateral back to Metro, and your bond gets released, so that way you can use it for other projects. So it's an ongoing process, and it's like no question, it's a dumb question. Ask every little question, and if I don't have the answer, I'm going to find the answer for you, and we're going to get back. So it's a great time to build that relationship with you. There's a couple contractors that's on Metro projects that I have built a great relationship with, that they call me, just check in. So hopefully in the future, when you enroll into the program, that I will build that relationship with you as well. So, for additional information, here's our contact information here, and we can go into a lot more details. Then we can also send you an enrollment form, and then get you started with the program. And like I said, this program is free of service to you, because Metro is supplying these resources for the program. So with that, I believe, Mildred, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Robert. Okay, so we have one or two more poll questions. I'll bring this up in just a second. And the second poll question reads, what subjects related to technical assistance would be beneficial to be included in future workshops? I'll give the audience 30 seconds to respond. Thank you all. And I'll hand this over to Ingrid for closing remarks.
Sure, thank you. We may have a minute or two. If anyone has a question they want to ask or a comment they want to make, you can actually use the raise your hand feature. I'll keep going in terms of starting to close us out, but just want to give folks that opportunity. I know we're running a little bit over, but you know, we like to have folks have an opportunity to speak themselves whenever possible. So use the hand feature if there's a question or a comment you'd like to make. But if not, we want to thank you again for participating today, for your feedback, the comments. I've been monitoring the chat and the Q&A, and a number of you were very involved, and we did our best to kind of answer questions as we went along. But you know, with our contact information, please just reach out to us directly, and we can, you know, have a specific dialogue in terms of your particular situation. And again, thank you for your participation today. If you want to follow up with us, you can see on the screen, just email us at imwisinfo@imwis.com. If you want more information on the program, you can go to our website. You'll see some information there. And then really it's a starting point. So then we can help make the connections that you need or address the areas that you may have that we can deal with directly. But we want to encourage you to enroll in the program, sign up. We'll add again, there's no cost to you for all of the services and resources that you heard about. So again, I'm seeing commentary, people are excited and motivated, and that's what we want. You have good reason to be excited and motivated. We just gave you a little taste of what the impact these kind of resources have had for other small contractors, and there's no reason why you shouldn't be added to that list, and we're talking about you the next time. So I want to thank Metro again, Keith, for just supporting the program and supporting the contractor community. I want to thank 3D Network. It's a lot of effort to put on these seminars and workshops, and they do just such a fantastic job. So Ann and Wendy and Mildred and the entire 3D Network team, our own team, Robert, Rick, thank you all, and wish everyone has a great evening.